Welcome to this video that explains the uncertain variable dialog in Analytic Solver platform. Here's our same simulation example that includes an uncertain variable in cell E13. This uncertain variable uses the PSI triangular distribution. Hover over this cell to display a small probability distribution function, or PDF for short. This chart displays a graphical representation of the full range of outcomes from our distribution, 1,000 trial values. Double-click this cell to open the uncertain variable dialog and to view a larger representation of the PDF. Here we can see that 90% of the trial values occurred between these two red lines. We can easily change these percentages by moving these lines left or right as desired. Click the CDF tab to view the cumulative distribution function chart, which displays a running total of the PDF and answers the question, how many trial values fell within a certain class or lower? The reverse PDF chart displays all values greater than the lower class boundary of a given class and answers the question, how many observations fall within a certain class or higher? Here we see the cell address where the uncertain variable resides, the formula inside the cell, and the distribution type. Some distributions can be entered in an alternate form, meaning that rather than using parameters to define a distribution, a user could specify the distribution using percentiles. The PSI triangular distribution does not have an alternate form, which is why we see no listed for alternate form in the dialog. Here we see our parameters. Our minimum value in cell L14, our likely value in cell K14, and our maximum value in cell J14. Scrolling down, we come to our control panels. Here we can enter a name such as selling price. We can enter a value that will make this distribution a constant value, such as 10. When we do this, the uncertain variable will only be 10 in all 1,000 trial values. We can enter a seed value, which will enable Solver to produce the same trial values on subsequent simulations. We could enter a value for shift to move the entire distribution to the left or right on the x-axis. Analytic Solver platform supports both cutoff bounds and sensor bounds. When you use cutoff bounds, random samples from the distribution are rescaled to lie within the lower and upper bounds. When you use sensor bounds, random samples from the distribution that lie above the upper bound are set equal to the upper bound, and samples that lie below the lower bound are set equal to the lower bound. This causes a buildup of probability mass at the bounds, which can be appropriate in some situations, but not in others. Lastly, you can enter a base case value that will be displayed when the value to display option is set to display the base case. Select Statistics from the drop-down menu to display the uncertain variables' associated statistic values, such as mean, standard deviation, variance, and so on. Select Percentiles from the drop-down menu to view the distribution's percentiles. Percentiles give us a probability that the value will be lower than the percentile value. For example, there is a 10% chance that the selling price will be below $8.84. Select Markers from the drop-down menu to create a variety of chart markers to mark and annotate points of interest in the distribution, such as the mean or median value. To add a marker, click the double plus icon and select mean for type, and for name you can also enter mean. Immediately a black line appears which defines the mean value for the distribution. Select chart type to change the type of chart, to change the color of the chart, and whether or not to include grid lines in the chart. You can also add 3D effects and transparency here as well. Finally, select Axis Options to change the scale of the X and Y axes. You can apply these changes to just this chart, to all the charts in the worksheet, or to all charts in the workbook by selecting the appropriate radio button, then clicking Save. This concludes this video on Analytic Solver Platform's uncertain function dialog. To contact our technical support staff, click the link that appears on the screen now.